Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live in. Every Thursday for about the past 2 months, I've been doing a series entitled Is He a Hall of Famer? Where I take a look at a player whose career is either winding down or has recently ended and take a look at whether they deserve to make their sports Hall of Fame. So the first five guys I did were all former or current NBA players. The last three I've done are NFL. I started off with LaShawn McCoy, then did Matt Ryan, and last Thursday I did Calais Campbell, who has since signed with the Atlanta Falcons. Today, we're going to take a look at another quarterback, and let me mention for this series that I'm not going to take a look at the obvious, no doubt, Hall of Famers like a Tom Brady or someone whose career has just started, such as a Joe Burrow. It's guys that pretty much, there's definitely a case that could be made that they should make it, and there's a contingency of people who believe that maybe they shouldn't. I dive into their career and give my final verdict at the end. So as I mentioned, the ninth one is another former quarterback. That is Philip Rivers. Rivers played collegiately at North Carolina State until he was selected in with the first round, fourth overall pick in a 2004 NFL draft by the Giants. But he was a part of that draft day trade that sent Eli Manning to the Giants, and Rivers went to the Chargers. Rivers would go on to play 16 seasons for the Chargers from 2004 to 2019 before spending his final season in 2020 with the Indianapolis Colts. So all in all, 17 seasons. Let's take a look at his career numbers via his Pro Football Reference page. So Rivers went 134 and 106 as a starter, 64.9 completion percentage, 63,440 yards, sixth most in NFL history. 421 touchdown passes, sixth most in NFL history, 209 interceptions, so a little bit over a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Let's take a look at his season by season numbers. So we see a lot of bold ink on his page. He's had some categories that he's led the league in. In 2013, led with a 69.5 completion percentage. 2010 led with 4,710 passing yards. 2008 led with 34 touchdown passes. Did lead the league in interceptions twice. But for three straight seasons from 2008 to 2010, led the league in yards per attempt. And in 2008, led the league with a 105.5 rating. So if you know about QBR, 50 is an average QBR. Every season, he had over a 50 QBR other than 2012, which was probably his worst season. But the following season, he put up one of his best seasons and was named Comeback Player of the Year. That came in 2013. Rivers was named to 8 Pro Bowls in his career. Never a first-team All-Pro. But you got to remember, a lot of his prime coincided with the primes of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, who are two of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. Every season from 2008 to 2020, so 13 season span, other than 2012, so 12 of 13 years, Rivers threw for over 4,000 yards, 2 seasons with over 4,700 yards, career high 4,792 in 2015. He had a total of 6 seasons where he threw at least 30 touchdown passes, but at least 21 every season from 2006 to 2020. Yes, the interception totals could be high. Had 3 seasons, of at least 20, but again, still over a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. 134 and 106 as a starting quarterback. Only had 4 seasons of his 15 as a starter where he had a losing record. His first 2 seasons, he was behind Drew Brees, so only saw some sporadic action. Once Drew Brees left for the Saints, he became the full-time starter, never looked back. If you take a look 2006 to 2020, you will see every single season, 16 games started. This was before the 17-game season. All those seasons were 16-game seasons. So once he became the full-time starting quarterback in 2006, he never missed a start. 15 seasons straight, never missing a start. 240 consecutive starts. That's the second most by a quarterback in NFL history, only behind Brett Favre, career 95.2 rating. 3 times Rivers finished fourth in Offensive Player of the Year. He had a season where he finished third in MVP voting and another season where he finished sixth. So again, extremely prolific career. 28 games over 500 as a starting quarterback. Postseason, probably not quite as successful as his passer rating went down 10 points, was 95.2 in the regular season, 85.3 in the postseason. 5-7 record, 59.4 completion percent, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So again, not quite as successful. Never made the Super Bowl, so his never got the Chargers to the Super Bowl. That 2007 season is the only time he reached a conference championship, where I believe they lost to the New England Patriots. So never appeared in the Super Bowl. If you're wondering, there are quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame who have never appeared in the Super Bowl. One is another longtime Charger. That is Dan Fouts. I believe the other two are Warren Moon and Sonny Jurgensen. I think those are the only three. Let me know in the comments if I did forget someone. So it's not like Rivers would be the first to make the Hall of Fame without reaching the Super Bowl. So Pro Football Reference has something called the Hall of Fame Monitor. It mentions that the Pro Football Reference Hall of Fame Monitor is a metric designed to estimate a player's chances of making the Pro Football Hall of Fame using approximate value, Pro Bowls, All Pros, championships, and various stat milestones. So, average Hall of Fame quarterback 109, top heavy, because look at Peyton Manning, 257.8. We see Phillip Rivers there at 98.06. So every quarterback who is eligible for the Hall of Fame ahead of him is in. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Ben Roethlisberger, not quite eligible yet. Some are still active. But quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame that Rivers has a higher score than include Bart Starr, Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach, Dan Fouts, Kurt Warner, Ken Stabler, Sonny Jurgensen, Bob Greasy, Warren Moon, Len Dawson, Troy Aikman, and Jim Kelly. So more than a handful that this monitor says gives him a better chance to make the Hall of Fame. So let's look at this article here from Yardbarker. It was written in November 11th, 2022. So it says how Rivers retired from football after the 2020 season. 5-year clock to the Hall of Fame is officially started. Rivers' 63,440 career passing yards put him sixth all-time. Sixth all-time passing touchdowns, 421. 5 quarterbacks ahead of him. Being first ballot Hall of Famers, Rivers also an 8-time Pro Bowler. What is holding him back? NFL has turned into much more of a passing league over the past decade. Absolutely. Rivers' stats may be better than a lot of Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Also has a lot more attempts. Rivers never won a Super Bowl. As I mentioned, never played in a Super Bowl. Duration of his career, Rivers never considered the best quarterback in the NFL. While that's true, as I mentioned, a lot of his prime coincided with the primes of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. So while his stats are plenty good to make the Hall of Fame, it'll be interesting to see what the Hall of Fame voters do at Rivers. So it mentions the longtime Charger will receive plenty of votes, but it seems likely he will not be enshrined. So this article on Yardbarker believes he won't get in. So ESPN wrote this article here. Should Phillip Rivers make the Hall of Fame? NFL experts debate his legacy, with Chargers puts the Colts' future at quarterback. This was written on January 20th, 2021. Let's scroll down to where these guys are asked, should Rivers make the Pro Football Hall of Fame? One person said absolutely. As noted earlier, Rivers was one of the league's best passers at his peak, and that peak lasted for roughly a decade, included a run from 2008-2010, which he led the league in yards per pass attempt 3 consecutive seasons. He might be lacking a Super Bowl ring, but led his team to 9 winning seasons, threw for 4,000 yards 12 times, 421 career passing yard touchdowns. Another person, yes, the numbers are there, ranking top 5 in many career passing categories. Toughness there, playing every game since 2006 despite a litany of injuries. Doesn't have a Super Bowl, but his 5-7 playoff record is respectable, and where you play matters. Chargers will long consider the Bengals the West Coast. He elevated the franchise. Another person, yes, of course he should. He's top 5 in yards and touchdowns, now 6th, and started 240 games in a row. It's a silly question, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame voting process done dumber things than make a guy like this wait so you never know. Another person, definitely the numbers are clearly there. Another person, objectively, yes, just look where he ranks in passing yards, passing touchdowns. For those who would cite all the standard talking points about today's inflated passing statistics, today's are yours, save for someone who's interested. I'll shorten all the other guys. So this one, yes, Hall of Fame for Best Players Generation. Rivers threw for more yards since becoming a starter, but other than Drew Brees, Eileen, yes, the volume stats don't do it for me. Yes, you can't skip a player who's top 5 in pass yards and touchdowns while starting 240 consecutive games. And then yes. So all those guys on ESPN basically think he should get in for the most part. The guy on Yard Barker did not think he'd go in. I wanted to share an article by the Washington Post, but you have to be subscribed to them, which I'm not, and I wasn't planning on doing so. So, my final verdict, should Philip Rivers be in the Hall of Fame? I'm going to say yes. He wouldn't be the first quarterback not to make the Super Bowl. I recently did a video where I named the best quarterback in each team's history, and I actually included Rivers over Dan Fouts. If Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame, I would give Rivers a slight nod as the better quarterback for the Chargers. I did say no to Ryan. Ryan does have the Super Bowl appearance and an MVP, but half the Pro Bowl nods of Rivers. And I think Rivers, more seasons than not, was a slightly better quarterback than Ryan. Of course, their seasons overlap. Their career overlapped for much of it. So I'm going to say yes for Philip Rivers, and I'm going to say no to first ballot. We'll see if he gets in first ballot. But Philip Rivers, let me know in the comments. Should Philip Rivers get enshrined in Canton? So this was the 9th episode of Is He a Hall of Famer? Stay tuned till next Thursday, where I take a look at another guy's career and whether or not they should make their sports Hall of Fame. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications.